The New World Order, the alien agenda is one and the same. It's world takeover and the decimation of the population of this planet. What we have to do is we have to literally ask for the truth. If we cannot ask for the truth, we must demand the truth. We must take it before courts of law and common law systems, and we must demand it.
Here's a little clip about Philip Schneider. Just Google his name, Philip Schneider, and there's a ton of information about him. And he was involved with underground military bases. A lot of interesting information. I can't validate that it's true or not, so go do your own homework. He gave a bunch of talks in the early 90s, mid-90s, and he was killed. He, quote, committed suicide.
If we cannot do this, our founding fathers told us the only thing left is to overthrow, to get the parasites out.
Kind of makes me wonder what's going to happen to this guy.
We are going to drain the swamp in Washington, D.C. We're draining the swamp.
Now, I'm going to casually mention to you something that's very scary indeed, and tell you what the alien agenda is. And it's going to sound very familiar. The alien agenda is the complete takeover of this planet, the killing off of 5/6 to 7/8 of the world's population by the year 2029. U.S. military has known about this for 45 years. They've told no one. As far as I know, I'm the only person standing before a crowd talking about the alien agenda, secretively. Probably the reason I got shot to pieces and 11 attempts on my life is I am a direct threat to the entire system. The New World Order, the alien agenda is one and the same. It's world takeover and the decimation of the population of this planet. Now, I'm going to tell you something a little bit different about the alien species. The bad news ones, there are 9 races of alien populations. To look at a human being as a bag of food. They're not cannibals. They don't eat the flesh and the bones and all that kind of stuff. They use the glandular secretions of animals and human beings as a mixture of the vitamins for their food. They get high off of our adrenal gland.
I have no idea where Phil stood regarding his faith, but you can see there is a lot of deception out there, whether it be from the government or, quote, the aliens. But one of these days, there will be disclosure and a great, great deception. The reason for this video is don't be a part of that great deception.
And that all they would have to do is push a button, boom, and the entire event would roll out. And he said everyone on planet Earth would be fooled. Everyone on planet Earth would be fooled.
In the Black Ops world, there's a whole esoteric group of people that are talking to channelers, that are out there conjuring all kinds of spirits. And it's an active part of what the Black Ops do. What do they do all day? They talk to spirits, they start wars, stop wars, do things with the economy, all for some original goal. Alien disclosure at Area 51, I have, in the appendix, I've added the current members of Majestic. So I've named 2 of them, Admiral McConnell and Dick Cheney. I'll name a third one, Greenspan. Now, naturally everybody says, how do you know it's Greenspan? I'll just give you a little vignette of something that I learned along the way. The people in the Black Ops, I mean, they gossip. You know, people in the Secret Service gossip about Bill Clinton. what he's doing. I mean, that's what they do. You know, they're just people talking about things. And so back, I don't know, it was 6 or 7 years ago, Greenspan, in case you don't know it, is married to Andrea Mitchell, NBC, about 20-some years his junior. So Dan Burish was telling me that the people in the Black Ops were kidding around about that Greenspan and his wife were in the hot tub and he threw his back out. Now that's just me talking to somebody in the black world. Then on TV the next day I see Greenspan in a wheelchair. Now, that's just a little vignette. The other one that you need to know about is about Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger knows all about this. He has his own, all of these people on Majestic have their own apartments, one-bedroom apartments at Area 51 S4. I have drawings of it. Kissinger, I think, is about 90-some years old, 92 or whatever. Well, part of this whole program, which we can get into, depending on how much time and so forth, at Area 51 S4 is genetic manipulation, both on the extraterrestrial and on humans. Now, I surmise, in my humble, informed opinion, that Kissinger has been enhanced. I mean, we know about hybrids, we know different things. Wouldn't surprise me one bit if he lives to be 100 and something. Kissinger, you know, his background, but I need to explain something. When Anonymous was at Area 51 S4, Eisenhower and Vice President Nixon sent Anonymous and his boss, I call him Jeffrey Wright, code name, to Area 51 to find out what's going on there. So that's what he did. He flew there on Air Force One in 1958, and there was a Air Force colonel there who had to be CIA. John Lear told me there's no just straight Air Force there, they're all CIA. They may wear whatever uniform they want. And by the way, Anonymous says on my camera that the CIA has a card. They can enter any building in the government. Swish that card, they can go into Fort Knox. That's the access that they have of their cards and so forth. Anonymous and his boss talked to this Air Force colonel and says to the colonel, the President of the United States wants to know who runs this place. And the Air Force colonel, codenamed Jim, had a little tag on his shirt, you know, Jim. Nobody used a real name. That's one of the main reasons Anonymous is alive, because he used different names. But that's another long story. So Air Force Colonel Jim says, well, I guess I am. But the real people, now get this, ladies and gentlemen, that run this place right now are at the Bohemian Grove. Now, what does that tell you? All the big high mucky mucks have this ritual every year. Kissinger there, you know, all the big shots. Doing what? Paying homage to an owl. In the Black Ops world, there's a whole esoteric group of people that are talking to channelers, that are out there conjuring all kinds of spirits. And it's an active part of what the Black Ops do. What do they do all day? They talk to spirits, they start wars, stop wars, do things with the economy, all for some original goal.
And I asked him, I said, do you think disclosure is soon? And you know, Paul's an author and been on TV, God TV, his own show, the whole deal. So McGuire is like a real smart guy.
I think I've had him on the show.
Yeah,
once too.
and Paul goes, he feels disclosure could happen at any moment. And I agree with him. And what people don't understand, the church doesn't seem to understand, that the neo-Darwinists, and I'll get into this tomorrow in my presentation, so get the live streaming. But the neo-Darwinists are looking towards the stars, towards the planets. And they said that we were seated here, panspermia. We were seated here, we were genetically manipulated here thousands of years ago. Early man was created by ET. And so when they show up, and they're going to show up, this is what I call the coming great deception. This is the coming great deception. And I think if the church is still here, millions of people will lose their faith. They'll just walk away. They'll just go, well, this isn't true, but this is, because they'll see it, because it's right in front of them. And they'll have signs and wonders and all sorts of stuff. What's coming, in my opinion, is unprecedented. And this is, oh, you're spreading fear. Look, folks, we're in a cosmic regime change.
Yeah.
Okay? These are the last days. And you got to understand that because we're in the last days, Satan comes with all signs of lying wonders. And that's the hallmark of the days, lying signs and wonders. That's where we are, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So you think one day in the near future, if you will, and we can't put a timeline or anything, but I think, there is we're definitely living in the biblical end times. I mean, with event after event. I mean, it's undeniable.
I agree.
And even who was it just now? One of the speakers,
Carl Gallup?
Yes. And he was speaking of caves in New Zealand that the rich people are carving out, and that was spoken of in the Bible. Now, you were saying like an alien disclosure. Now, you mean as in one day they could come to the earth and basically claim themselves a god?
That's what they're going to do. They will say, and I keep saying this over and over again, but I have to keep saying it because the more I say it, people will realize it, okay? Yeah. People will begin to understand what we're dealing with. When ET shows up, they will say that they created all life on this planet, they genetically manipulated early man, that they started the world's earliest civilizations, they started the world's religions, and now at this critical juncture in human history, they are back to usher mankind into a golden age. And I truly believe this. I mean, I've written about it, it's in the film, this is what I believe, it's my core value. I'm not making this stuff up. And that's why I labeled it the coming great deception.
And who are they, in your opinion?
In my opinion, these are not lovable beings from Zeta Reticuli or E.T. Phone Home like we saw with Spielberg's classic movie, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. These are demonic entities. They are interdimensional entities. They are principalities, wickedness in high places. They are highly intelligent, very powerful, but malevolent beings that can manipulate space, time, matter, and energy. And that's what we need to understand. They can go through walls. And that sounds crazy. We know that Jesus did it after the resurrection. He came through the wall in the upper room.
Now you've heard from Ron Garner, Phil Schneider, Steve Green, and L.A. Mazzulli, and also Lisa Haven. Those folks have all talked about disclosure, the alien disclosure, the spiritual deception that comes with it. Now I'm going to read Matthew 24 to you. You need to know how Jesus will come back. There will be no other way. Don't believe any of it. Do not be deceived. There's going to be no other way other than what I'm reading to you. So here we go. Signs of Christ's return. Jesus came out of the temple and was going away when his disciples came up to point out the temple buildings to him. And he said, do you not see all these things? Truly, I say to you, not one stone here will be left upon another, which will not be torn down. As he was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, tell us, when will these things happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age? Notice it doesn't say end of the world, the end of the age, and that would be the church age, the age of grace, just so you know. And Jesus answered and said to them, see to it that no one misleads you. Let me read that again. And Jesus answered and said to them, see to it that no one misleads you. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will mislead many. You will be hearing of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not frightened, for those things must take place. But that is not yet the end. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And in various places there will be famines and earthquakes. But all these things are merely the beginning of birth pangs. Then they will deliver you to tribulation, and will kill you, and you will be hated by all nations because of my name. He's talking about people that are Christians, that have taken Jesus as their Savior. At that time, many will fall away and will betray one another and hate one another. Many false prophets will arise and will mislead many. Because lawlessness is increased, most people's love will grow cold. But the one who endures to the end, he will be saved. This gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. Perilous times. Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation, which was spoken of through Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, let the reader understand. I'll explain that. The abomination of desolation, that's the Antichrist, standing in the temple. The temple has not yet been built. But note, we will see this dude standing in the holy place. Once you see that, then those who are in Judea must flee to the mountains. Whoever is on the housetop must not go down and get the things that are in his house. In other words, get out of Dodge. Poop's going to hit the fan. Whoever is in the field must not turn back to get his cloak. But woe to those who are pregnant and those who are nursing babies in those days. But pray that your flight will not be in the winter or on a Sabbath. For then there will be a great tribulation, such as has not occurred since the beginning of the world until now, nor ever will. Notice, we, the Christians, will be in the great tribulation. But he cuts the days short. Here we go. Unless those days had been cut short, no life would have been saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. And what the elect means is those people that are saved, that are Christ followers. Then if anyone says to you, behold, there is the Christ, or there he is, don't believe him. And that's what I'm trying to tell you today. For false Christs and false prophets will arise and will show great signs and wonders, so to mislead, if possible, even the elect. That includes me. So I'm reading this again, and I'm burning it in my mind, because there's only going to be one way and one Jesus coming back. Behold, I have told you in advance. So if they say to you, behold, he is in the wilderness, do not go out. Behold, he is in the inner rooms, do not believe them. Another thing, I think that it's going to be a trap and people will flock to this, and the people that flock to it, they'll probably be martyred for their faith or for even considering their faith. For just as lightning comes from the east and flashes even to the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man be. Wherever the corpse is, there the vultures will gather. The glorious return. But immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened. Okay, now burn this in. The sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from the skies. And the powers of the heavens will be shaken. And then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of the sky with power and great glory. That's how it happens, folks, right there. And he will send forth his angels with a great trumpet. They will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the sky to the other. I'm going to stop right there. You can read more if you'd like, but that's the bottom line. Let me read 30 again. And then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of the sky with power and great glory. There will be no mistaking when he comes. So folks, take time to study this, and then even take more time and read the whole Bible. There's tons and tons and tons of great information. So I hope you like this video. I hope it helps you and God bless. Thanks for watching.